So the final piece with exponents is what we do when we have a negative exponent. And after this, we're just going to kind of do a little more review with them. We'll be having a quiz soon, so we need to kind of make sure we know what's going on. So a negative exponent, does anyone remember what that does? You may have never seen it before. It flips it. It moves it to the denominator. So then it would become 1 over x to that power. And then once you move it, your exponent becomes positive. Okay, if it were a negative power on the denominator, then it goes up to the top. So it basically just flips if your power is negative. So if I said x to the negative 5, how would I rewrite that with a positive?
1 over x to the 5.
Very good. 1 over, and you make that exponent positive.
So if it's positive, you make it negative?
No, you leave, if it's positive, we're going to leave it alone. Okay. So the standard is to never have negatives on your final answer for exponents. So anything with a positive exponent stays, anything with a negative moves. So if I look at this one, we have to be a little bit careful. We have a 3, and then we have an m to the negative 2. Does the 3 have a negative exponent? No, so it stays. But the m would move to the bottom, so that becomes 3 over m squared. So only the piece with the negative gets moved. All right, number 3, negative 7. Is that the same thing as having a negative exponent? No, it's a negative number, but the exponent isn't negative. So the negative 7 changes. What about the a? Does it need to move? Yes. So that would put an a to the positive 4 on the bottom. Does the b need to move? No. So it stays.
That's confusing.
So you basically, you're looking at this problem, the only thing with the negative exponent was the a, so it dropped down. The rest of them stayed where they were. All right, all of our other exponents rules are still true. So we are going to solve our problems like normal. Like everything we were reviewing yesterday, nothing has changed, but we're going to watch our final answer. If our final answer has a negative exponent, then we'll go ahead and move that portion to the denominator. If the exponents are positive, we don't have to do anything else. All right? So, same things we have been doing. If I look at this first one here, what would I do with those exponents? Add them. So 7 plus negative 9 is negative 2. Is that okay for my final answer?
No.
No. So how do I write the final answer?
1 over W2.
Very good.
Don't do me, because I'm getting them right.
I'm going to have to break apart our giggling corner over there.
Do it, please.
Yes. 3.
Right. All right. Number 5. If I'm multiplying these, so 4 times 5.
20.
C to the 8 times c to the negative 5. What do we do with those exponents? Add them. What's 8 plus negative 5?
Positive 3.
Positive 3. All right, then my d's. D to the negative 3 times d to the negative 1. So negative 3 plus negative 1. All right, so what moves on this one?
The negative 1. Right?
Yep, so the 20c to the third is on top. And on the bottom we get d to the positive 4. When you move it, the exponent becomes positive. And why don't you guys try 6 and 7 for me? 10 over 6, when you multiply, you get negative 18x to the negative 11. Negative 18, the number is negative, but not the exponent, so it stays, but the x moves down. number 7, if we multiply. So the A's become A, B to the, C to the, and because the C is negative, it drops down to the bottom. Are we doing okay on those? So we're just going to keep practicing now. Let's look at problem 8. So all of our other rules still apply. We're practicing everything every day. What would I have to do on this one?
8 to the second power.
This becomes 8 to the negative 2 and P to the,
Negative.
what is 8 to the negative 2?
64.
8 squared is 64. The negative would make it 1 over 64. You can do that on your calculator as well. If you type in 8 to the negative 2 and ask for a fraction, it will tell you 1 over 64. Okay, what about that P? Where does it go? Top or bottom? Yeah, so I'm just going to say 1 over 64 P to the 10. Everything dropped down to the bottom. If you did 8 to the negative 2. Alright, number 10. So if I take that exponent to everything, I would have a 3 to the 4, negative 4, r to the negative 4, s to the positive 12. Okay, so the s is positive, it's going to stay, everything else is going to go to the bottom. So 3 to the negative 4 is 1 over 81, or we can put the 81 on the bottom. If you have the 1 on top or not, it doesn't matter. And then the r to the 4 moves down to the bottom. All right, let's look at some division. Everybody pay attention here, make sure we know. If we divide, what have I told you to do with the exponents? Subtract them. So if I divide these, what is 2 minus 5? So then my final answer would be 1 over h to the 3rd. Number 14, if I look at my numbers, what's 14 divided by 7? 2. With my w's, you have 4 minus negative 2. What does that become? 6. Do we have any negative exponents? No, so that is my final answer. All right, I want you guys to try a couple. Why don't you guys try 16 and 18? Okay, so on 16, 36 divided by 12 is 3. Okay, we still have the x, the y's. 8 minus 7 is 1. So then only the x has a negative exponent, so it drops down to the bottom. So it's 3y over x to the 4th. All right, 18. Negative 4 divided by 8. Okay, with my p's, we subtract exponents. So 1 minus 2 is negative 1. With my q's, 5 minus 2 is 3. With my r's, 3 minus 10, negative 7. Okay, so what's moving to the bottom? So we can make this one big fraction. The negative 1/2, you just put the negative 1 on top, the 2 on the bottom. The P, because it was a negative, drops down. Q stayed. And the R drops down. So -1 q to the third over 2 p r to the 7th. Alright, that one was a little bit uglier. Are we okay with it?
Yeah.
Let's look at, probably do just a couple more, and then we are going to wrap it up for today. So if I look at this one, where do we begin on this problem? The exponents. Okay, so we have exponents outside both of these parentheses, and we need to fix or deal with that first. So if I take that through, we have 4 to the -2 power. What is 4 to the -2? 1 over 16. X to the, you multiply, so -6. Y to the, plus, what's 2 to the -3? X to the, Y to the. Okay, everybody pay attention here. What do you notice about these? They're like terms. So, we can go ahead and add them together. Use your calculator if you need to. You need to do 1 over 16 plus 1 over 8. Everybody. 1 over 16 plus 1 over 8. What does that give us? And we know that when we do it, the variables don't change. Is that okay for my final answer? No. Okay, so we're going to make one-day fraction. 3 is on top, 16 is on the bottom. X's go on the bottom, Y's go on the bottom. All right, are there any questions on that? So I am going to stop there for today. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give